Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time to grab your gear and ride along as we bring you the next episode of the Pedego Podcast, all about the e-bike revolution and the entrepreneurs driving it, the love stories of those just riding along. Brought to you by Pedego Electric Bikes. Well, today we're going to veer down another path here. I don't know where this one's going to go because I really can't even wrap my head around what these folks are doing. But we had one of our dealers in Atlanta come on and talk about these people, and we said, this sounds too cool. We got to talk to these people. So we brought them in here. Welcome, Becky and Tim O'Mara.
O'Mara, thanks for having us.
Hey, Tim and Becky, you do something that is too cool, and we had to tell the world about it here. Do you get kids to build bikes?
We sure do. We teach kids 6 to 17 how to build and fix bikes. And I tell you what, Paul, they love it.
I'll bet. So what's the purpose of this? Is it to teach them life skills? This is a nonprofit. You're not doing this for profit here. What's the point of the exercise?
We're a nonprofit in Atlanta, Georgia. We are connecting work with reward, just teaching the value of hard work. We teach kids how to build and fix bikes, and as they do so, they earn points. And those points are their currency in our bike shop. And then they can use those points to buy a bike of their own.
Wow.
Keep that bike in working order and advance through a really neat series of levels, learning more complex skills along the way, earning all sorts of fun rewards and benefits along the way. It's really neat.
And as you said when we talked off camera here, it's teaching kids life skills with an iconic thing that every kid seems to relate to, a bike, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So most of the kids end up in our shop and they don't have a bike, or their bike is broken. You know, something's happened to it. They've got a flat tire, that sort of thing. Or their friends have said, hey, come get a bike. It's this place you can get a bike. But what we found is, so that's the draw, get on a bike. Everyone, kids are just more than excited to get on a bike. But then we find it's a great environment to teach things like perseverance and responsibility, critical thinking, all those great things that just come from learning a new skill, in addition to the confidence that just comes from learning something you didn't know before and being able to share that in an environment that values it, that wants you to do that.
So, Tim, have you tricked kids into doing what my dad could never trick me into doing? If you really work hard, you'll get this. If you want it, you got to go out and earn it, son. And I'd be like, yeah, I don't know if I want it that bad. Why don't you just give it to me as a birthday gift here?
Yeah, so I think we just kind of tricked them into it in some sense. So, the kid, when they come in, they want to get a bicycle, and that's the exciting part, is getting the bike. And then, we lay out the path forward on how do you get the bike, and the fact that, like, you have some skin in the game. We'll show you how to earn the points you need to get the bicycle you want. They agree to that, and, they start having fun in the process. There's a lot of kids that like working with their hands, that there's not a lot of opportunities for that anymore.
No.
Everything's digital. So, a kid gets to be good at something like working on a bike, and his friends are doing it, and, they ride together, they work on bikes together, they earn points at their own pace, and they get to buy, the bikes that they want.
So how does it work? Walk me through this, and how long does it take? Give me a quick scenario of the course that you guide them through.
Sure. So kids 6 to 17 are allowed to come in and earn points to save in their account to get a bike. So the way that works is we teach kids how to build each component of the bicycle, the stem, the wheels, all that.
Do they put the brakes on and everything here and everything, all that kind of stuff?
No, in the beginning, it's just the part. It's just mounting a tire on a rim. It's taking the stem apart and putting it back together. It is taking the seat clamp apart, putting it back together, and then putting it on the seat post with the handlebars on there.
Right.
Once you can master that, they move into level 1, which is putting together a basic kids coaster brake bike, just like you'd get at Walmart. No pull brakes or anything, just a coaster brake basic bike.
Right.
When they master that, they test out, and they go into level 2, which is bikes with brake cable. And so they learn about braking system, a basic pull brake. And then from there, when they master and test out of that level, they get to go into basic shifting with some friction shifters, front and back brakes. And then level 4, you get into just about everything else up into hydraulics. So there's a certain amount of hours that they're in each level. that they're mastering these things, and it works a lot like karate belts, to where you go through and you master wherever.
You demonstrate that you can do this, and then the sensei, that's you, the instructor says, okay, you have moved on, my child. It's time to give you another challenge here. All right, how long does this take? Days, weeks, a weekend, a month? I don't know.
So get a bike, every hour that they work, they get points. So the prices start about 12 stars for a bike and go up to somewhere in the mid-20s to maybe 30, depending on the quality of the bicycle.
Right.
So they can get into something quick and cheap, or they can save for something that they want more. But some kids, honestly, they're just here to build the bikes. We have kids with more stars than they could ever spend in their childhood because they just enjoy the work so much.
Well, let's get on a bike in about 3 to 4 weeks. They're coming a couple times a week, and so there's enough work to feel like work, but also attainable.
Yes, I was going to say if it gets too unattainable, then I quit along the way. I can't do 100 hours to win a bike or something, and at the same time, I don't want to do it in 2 days, a weekend, and whoopee, I don't really feel like I earned anything here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. So that's a process you take them through. Mm-hmm. How do you pay for this? Because you're handing them a bike at the end. They're not paying you for this. How do you pay for these products?
So we're about 12 years old now. We started in 2010. And over the years, those early days, all the bikes that are earned, and still today, but all the bikes that are earned are donated from families, community members who've outgrown or don't have a need for the bike anymore. So they donate them to the bike shop. We fix them up and get them ready to be earned or now sold in our retail shop. And then over the years, we've just developed a really generous, supportive community that donates to the cause, believes in the life change that happens. We're in a community where we just have a lot of kids that would be labeled at risk, challenges up against them here in Southwest Atlanta. And so having a program like ours is just important to that community fabric of having kids, being able to give kids a safe place to go after school, giving them an activity that just helps keep them out of trouble, keep them active, and starts to create that pathway into adulthood. And that's what we're really passionate about. Is just
and a little entrepreneurialism, a little idea that if you work hard, you can do things you didn't think you could do, and there's a reward. You get something.
Yeah, the main focus was that show the kids that skills equal opportunities. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people that feel like there's no opportunities around them, but sometimes it's just because the right skill isn't there. The reason you can do this podcast is because you've developed this skill.
That's right.
And somebody finds that to be valuable and they want to pay you to do it. So that's what we use the bicycles for. It's to develop skills so that you can capitalize on all the opportunities that are going by you each day.
Wow. There's so much to unpack in there, and I don't know which direction to go in. Tell me a story. Tell me a story that you've helped or saved or seen miraculous things from. Give me a story.
There's a ton of stories across the spectrum, from Brittany, who was the first one that got the bike by just doing chores in our yard. We ended up getting her a bike, and she was the catalyst because when she took off on her bike, she told friends about it, and then they come up to our house and they wanted bikes as well. And then when Becky told some of the people, her volunteers at the church she was working at, what had happened, they were more than happy to get all the bikes out of their garages and basements and shove them in her car. So she couldn't go to work without a bike getting shoved in her car. And we couldn't, help a kid get a bike by picking up trash back in the day without getting 2 or 3 more kids coming over wanting to do that.
Right.
So that change in the beginning was really a catalyst for what we have today. But now, we have young men, so we have an internship now, and we have kids that have come up from 10 and 12 years old who worked in the program, earned their stars, got their bikes, became interns. So once you turn 15, you can apply for a summer internship. Mm-hmm. If you're successful in that, you have the ability to extend that to an annual internship. And then just recently, a year and a half ago, we had one of our full-time mechanics leave, and we asked one of our students who was in the internship if he would like to take over that full-time salaried position. We felt like he was ready to at least take on the challenge. And he thought about it and decided to go for it, and he's absolutely thriving in the position.
So I take it you have a traditional bike shop. That's where this grew from, or am I wrong?
you're wrong. It grew from giving a little girl a bike in our neighborhood, and a bunch of nice people wouldn't stop giving us bicycles. And then we had to figure out a way we wanted the kids to have skin in the game.
Yeah, you don't want to just hand them out. You collect gently used bicycles, and you could easily, like the Salvation Army, just give them back out, or I guess sell them for a couple bucks or something here to make them feel like they have something in it. But you wanted them to earn the bike.
And we wanted them to earn it, yes, but to develop skills. Like those skills when you build a bike are very valuable. All the things you learn are transferable to every other nut and bolt out there in the world.
Right.
So if you can build a bike, you learn about bearings, you learn about how hydraulics work, with hydraulic brakes, all these things that they're one for one out in the world. And we just saw the deficit in the trades and all the high paying jobs that were out there. And part of our thought was, man, if we can just get some tools in these guys' hands and they can apply them to other places as they grow up, they will make a fortune and be able to have a good living out there with work. They will never be able to do all the work.
Because they're learning mechanical skills that we used to learn in shop or something in school, but we don't have those kinds of metal shops or wood shops anymore here. We're teaching kids French literature or ancient history like I majored in, and then you wonder, what the heck am I going to do with that when I come out? Because there's no practical application to it here.
Yeah, and then you wonder why you got to pay a plumber $1,000 to come tighten a nut on your toilet or something.
Yeah, amen. Right, exactly. All right, so I'm still struggling. How do you guys survive? What do you do to support yourselves? Is this your full-time gig, a part-time gig? Tell me about you guys.
It's a full-time gig these days. Yeah, we actually have a team of 7.
Oh, my goodness.
Here that lead not only the Earn a Bike program, but also, like Tim mentioned, the job training program and a youth mountain biking team. We're a mix of individuals, local foundations who are looking to make a dent and helping to end the cycle of poverty that exists in our city. And then we also have a retail bike shop now. So we discovered we had all these adult-sized bikes that weren't getting earned very fast, and we could refurbish them, really restore some of these really cool vintage frames and get them back out into the world. So we serve the community through repair work now. Young adults that are working in our job training program work in the shop.
And so some of these kids, as you say, can evolve. You have a few positions open from time to time, and you can actually employ them, not just train them, but employ them. And you're selling what? You're sort of doing are you selling new bikes or just refurbished bikes?
So all refurbished bicycles, and then offer full service repair work on acoustic bikes right now. But about 20% of our income comes through the front door in that way, which is really
so some of it is a business that's evolved out of this, and some of it's just foundation and grants and other things that allow you to do this work here. How the heck what did you do before? If you're not from the bike world, what were you doing before you gave this bike to Becky?
Yeah, that's the funny part. I did I was a videographer. Work for myself.
Of course, that's so obvious right there.
Yeah. So I was alone like 99% of the time, just filming things that I like to do. And then Becky was she was a youth director at a church,
and then a project manager. Yeah. But we just love bikes. You know, we grew up on bikes. You know, and have always rode recreationally and just love the riding culture that's kind of coming to fruition in the city of Atlanta. So when we moved into our neighborhood here in Southwest Atlanta, we were just so surprised at how few kids had bikes, and it just felt like a miss for us. So that's what really kind of spurred it along. You know, once we started getting kids bikes.
Once you gave Becky a bike and everybody said, I want one too, then you're like, how the heck are we going to do this? Yeah. Or what was her name?
Brittany.
I wanted to say Becky. Yeah. Brittany. I'm sorry.
Well, they just started coming after that, and then, like I said, Becky couldn't go to work without somebody putting a bike in her car.
Right.
And every time we gave a bike away, there was more kids coming. And then the maintenance is what kept the kids. The bike started breaking down. We had to figure out a way to fix it. I was figuring out how to work on bikes, and I was like, I can't fix all these bikes. This is insane.
Right.
So then it was like, well, how do we figure out how to help the kids help themselves?
Right.
And then with that, you know, you protect their dignity and everything with that they have something inside of them. They can do this themselves. Somebody just needs to show them how. And so that was the goal, was like,
And I take it these are kids, as you say, at-risk kids, so this must be an at-risk neighborhood, however you define that. These are poor kids that don't have access. The parents aren't just going to go buy them a bike. I grew up in suburbia. Everybody had a bike, but I don't know in the inner cities.
A little bit like that. And, it's interesting. The maintenance piece is what keeps kids from riding long-term. Because especially when we first moved into our neighborhood, the closest bike shop was 3-4 miles away.
Absolutely. Right.
And, the cost of getting even just some simple repairs can be hefty for a family with a limited income. So sometimes those bikes just ended up in the backyard with a flat tire and that was it. So keeping the bikes in working order is what keeps kids riding. And it's neat to see how the kids that earn bikes love riding.
Oh, I bet it's freedom. It's opportunity. You can go places. You can do things. Yeah.
We had a crew of kids a couple of years ago that started. They named themselves. They had a little riding club, and it was called Bike Life. And
Bike Life ATL.
Bike Life ATL. And
Bike Life Atlanta. Okay, all right.
They ride halfway across the city, and we're all together. And of course, they're also doing wheelies down the middle of the road.
Of course, a little
out there.
Got to show off.
Just the freedom, independence, and just the celebration of cycling. It's just unique.
Well, and one of the things that I've seen such joy in doing this podcast is the revival of that bike culture, at least among the aging baby boomers who had put their bikes long away and felt that part of their life was gone. And now more and more, because we're talking about electric bikes, they get a little assist when they need it to go up the hill and go over the hurdles and stuff. But they're still pedaling. They're still out there again. And they're discovering that joy of being, we had so many of them. It's like, oh my God, I feel like a kid again. I'm just out riding a bike. I'm going to put streamers on it and everything here. People out doing, I guess there's just something about that freedom that a bike gives you, that feeling of just being out in the open and flying, like I did on my little radio flyer when I was 10 or something here.
Yeah, I think the electric bike reawakens that because now, as you age, some people, we have people that are coaches on our mountain biking team, and they're they want to go ride 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 miles.
I can't,
I'm not that person. But what it did, we got on an electric bike, and it just kind of rekindled that, I can go anywhere.
Yes.
I mountain bike and whatnot, but I never want to go ride 50 miles. That's not something that excites me. I want to go have fun. I want to have it fast, get dirty, that sort of thing.
Right.
But I don't want to ride 50 miles. But then after getting on an electric bike, it was okay, I could do that. I wouldn't mind spending the day riding because
exactly. It rekindles that youthful feeling that you had that you can go anywhere, do anything, and you want to, rather than, I can't go. That's too far. That's too this. It's too here's a hill there. Somebody said it eliminates all the excuses because as you get older, there are more and more excuses why you don't ride a bike or do a lot of things, I guess. And something about that, it's just very youthful. So I understand you're not obviously teaching kids to build electric bikes. Is that ever a possibility? Putting some little battery? I don't know if that's even possible to show kids how. Because I would think a lot of these kids, once they get to a certain point, they want to go further now because there are electric bikes around.
Absolutely. We were wrestling so we've been focused on the trades for a while and what that would mean for kids, and then we work with some kids that have transportation issues, so they'll Uber into work or how do you get to work consistently? And with the electric bikes coming online, that just really opened our eyes. And after we rode them, we were like, wow, this may be the stopgap for somebody getting to work until it makes sense to get into an automobile if you need to do that. But this could really solve a lot of problems for a lot of people.
Because you're talking about the stumbling blocks that keep kids from getting out of poverty. I don't know how to do this. I don't have any skills. I don't have any mentors that have showed me the way maybe. And even more so, even if I have the desire and the ability, how am I going to get to that job? How am I going to get there? I can't rely on public transportation in so many places. And it's just all these little things become insurmountable hurdles, I would think. I didn't grow up in that environment. I'm trying to understand what it's like there.
When you remove the barriers or give answers to those things, you clear the pathway for someone to walk through it themselves and kind of decide the next step.
Yeah, because ultimately you got to choose to walk through to change your life, to do something different, like anything. But if there's so many impediments in the way, at some point you just give up, I guess.
Yeah. And we can help remove those barriers, encourage and just help folks believe in themselves. So many of the young people we work with is just helping them believe in themselves so that they can take the next step and believe that they have something to offer valuable out in the world. And
well, if it'll help any of the kids, you can hold me up as an example. I'm an honors graduate from a major university. I went to law school. I've been in radio broadcasting, other things for years. I could not change a tire on the bike if you held a gun to my head. I don't know the right end of a screwdriver to use half the time here or any of that. And I feel so foolish because I think I'm one of many people. I'm so removed from mechanical skills. We just go get somebody to do that, a plumber to come out and tighten the nut, because I really don't feel comfortable doing it. And I wonder if that's good for our society to have too many people like me who are helpless, who've spent all this time in brain exercises and not enough in life skills and tangible skills here.
Well, it's always a good reminder that, we need a mix. We need a mix for our country, our economy to fully function, and that diversity of skills is beneficial to us all. And just to celebrate those skills, those careers again, is unique. And
well, to feel that you can do it. I like people who go out and grow their own food or, hunters. I feel like I did it myself. I took care of myself here. And too often I think we don't know how to take care of ourselves, or all this, especially the stuff we've got complicated. I can't work in a car anymore. I can't even figure out the computers under the hood and everything here. Mm-hmm. So we're removed from that.
Great, introductory thing. So we just find that because it's so relevant to a kid, you don't have to cross that hurdle. Is there
anybody doing anything like this? I would think you'd be written up in every grant publication in the world. Look at this. This is a really cool thing, because it caught my attention the minute Kat, our dealer down in Atlanta, started talking about it, and she's certainly passionate about it.
Yeah, I think the program's unique in a couple ways. It makes us different than some of the other stuff that's out there. But to your question about, are we working on the electric bikes yet? We're not, because we just don't have it coming in.
Yeah.
So we would train kids on it if we could, but right now we're just not in the place, because majority of the stuff we work on is, it's just older, 2010 or older than that. Some new stuff gets in here, newer than that, but we just haven't had the
electric bikes are pretty new, so pretty soon people are going to start handing you those as they're used or forgotten or broken, and people will say, hey, how about one of these? And then you've got an opportunity to do that. Well, I know Don listens to this show here. He might reach out to you and be interested in creating some sort of program or campaign here. I think
we need some training bikes.
Yeah. Well, and I tell you, because I suspect that, this is partly for them just to feel good about themselves. I did this, and I can do this, I can do other things, and to pick up some tangible skills of how to work with tools and stuff that I never picked up really well in my life. But it may be, as you get more sophisticated, some of these students may want to actually open bike shops or repair bikes. Or every bike shop in America, all the Pedego stores, are all looking for qualified mechanics, and it is more complicated on an electric bike, clearly, so they need a little more training and a little more skills. And you might open up a new job category here for some of these kids if they want to do it more than just make a bike for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've sent a couple graduates now, just a handful, off to other bike shops in the city, and are well connected with Kat in our city, and hoping we'll be the funnel to her for her future mechanics. We'd love to be that.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
We're really trying to ramp that up now, ramp up our training and bring in more students, and so we can graduate 6 at a time or maybe 12 at a time if we can get them. We do an annual training where they go through a very robust mechanical course that we've kind of put together, so that when they're ready to go, they've learned to show up on time, smile, work hard, problem solve, think critically about problems.
Be persistent, not quit and just say, oh, it doesn't work. And you go, well, figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, because they work in retail. They have to be able to help the customers solve their problems. And that's their job while they're down there.
Well, you're doing a great job. What a simple idea. Play on the old adage, give somebody a fish they eat for the day, but you teach them to fish they eat for life. You're teaching these kids to ride for life, to move on for life here. What an amazing story. Becky and Tim Amar, did we mention the store? Let's mention it a couple times so everybody knows where to go find more. Is there a website or a place that...
Absolutely, yes. We are Bearings Bike Works. And you can find out more at bearingsbikeworks.org.
And this is like ball bearings, Bearing, right? Bearings Bike Works in Atlanta. And you must be down in the city somewhere in Atlanta there.
We sure are, yep.
And has the community responded? They're certainly donating bikes to you, so you can give them away. People can earn them, or you can resell them and help support this work here.
Yeah.
Has anybody else in the city caught on to what you're doing here? I'm going to get you the key to the city here or something.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the community's been so supportive. We've been in the same location for 12 years and have a beautiful new facility now, 6,000 square feet, right on the Atlanta Beltline.
Look at you.
The run, walk, ride trail here around the city, and so we're very grateful to be kind of knit into the fabric of the city.
All from giving one kid a bike. Did you have any idea it would lead to this? No.
Not at all. No, but it's great.
Yeah, we're very blessed.
Well, I hope
a lot of room to expand down here. We have 2 more buildings we're going to.
I hope the videographer in you is capturing some of this. You should put this and put it on your website and stuff here. We need to see.
It's all on the website. You'll be able to see it, the property for what it is, where we're at on the Beltline, and then the potential for growth we have to help more kids.
All right. Well, we hope maybe somehow, by some miracle, we can help you expand even further into helping kids with electric bikes and fix them and work on them and build them,
awesome.
all that kind of stuff. Thanks so much for coming on. We're talking with Becky and Tim O'Mara from Bearings Bike Works down in Atlanta. Thanks for joining us today here. One more reason to tune in and ride along on the Pedego Podcast as we talk to the most amazing people doing the most incredible things, riding, getting others to ride, as we all get back on a bike again, see where it takes us. All brought to you by Pedego Electric Bikes.